guys, welcome to Inside the NFL Today. My name is Damon, and today we're doing Mega Reaction Monday, and I'm going to go over the games that went on this weekend, including Thursday night's game, and I'm going to talk to you guys about it. Monday night's game I'll review in my video tomorrow, power rankings, and that's how it'll kind of be, because I want to get you guys this video out on Monday. That way you guys can see my reaction personally and what I think about what the games happen on Sunday. So first off, the Carolina versus Tampa Bay game. Carolina won 31-13, I believe. And what I got kind of from this game, I personally watched some of it, not all of it, a little of the tail end. But personally, what I got from reviewing this game and watching highlights from it and all this stuff was it's kind of what we knew about Tampa Bay. We knew Tampa Bay is kind of losing it. They're on their last leg, really. Everything's crumbling down under Greg Schiano's coaching, and nothing's really looking good for them. I don't know how they're going to win a game the way they are right now. They do have Darrelle Revis, and they have some good guys on that defense. So if they fire Greg Schiano, or if anything like that happens soon, if they get some major changes, maybe some major emotional changes, I think that team may be able to win a few games, but I think it's pretty much downhill from here if no major changes are made. Next with the Carolina Panthers. We're kind of seeing a reemergence of the Panthers. The Panthers, whenever they selected Cam Newton, they kind of went up that year, and they looked really good at first. They didn't win a huge amount of games, but and recently they haven't won enough. But I think the Panthers are reemerging as a potential playoff threat. They'll probably be pushing for the playoffs this season. They do have the Saints and Falcons. I mean, the Falcons are bad this year, but they have the Saints in their division. So they probably won't win the division this year, but you could see them pushing for a playoff spot if they continue to do well. They've improved on their rush, pass, offense, and their defense is improving a little, but for the most part, they're improving overall as a team. Next game we have is San Francisco against Jacksonville, and this game was kind of a disappointment to me. I know it's San Francisco, and San Francisco is a really good team, but Jacksonville once again lost by double-digit points. San Francisco won like 41-10. It was a bad game. The Jaguars at one point started scoring some points and held San Francisco for a while, but after that they just blew them out the rest of the game. We kind of confirmed what we knew about Jacksonville. Jacksonville's the worst team in the NFL. I don't know how they're going to win a game because they've lost their past, I think, 4 or 5 now by double digits. Bad team. There are going to be some major decisions and major changes being made that will be made this offseason that maybe can turn that team around, but as for this season, I don't know how they're going to even win one game. San Francisco-wise, I think they're back on track after losing a few of their first games, including the one to my team, the Colts. They kind of are back on track now. They've got that running game going. They're back to their normal offense where they are focused more on the run than pass, and defensively they're doing a lot better. Next game is another game I watched, Detroit versus Dallas, and the disappointing thing about this game was I live in the Dallas area. My dad's a Dallas Cowboys fan, and the Dallas Cowboys once again lost it in the fourth quarter. It was a tight game the whole entire game, but once again, Dallas proved they can't close out, and it wasn't even really Tony Romo's fault this time. It was more on the defense. Tony Romo didn't burn enough time off the clock before they scored, but and they didn't score a touchdown, but they couldn't stop Megatron, and that was the point of the game. Megatron got like 329 yards, I believe, and you can't let any wide receiver get that. I think if the opposing wide receiver gets over 300 yards, I think you're almost destined to lose the game. The Dallas defense let us down again, and as Dallas as a whole, they need to figure out how to close out games, whether it's emotional, mental, anything like that. They really need to figure out how to close games. Next, we have Kansas City over Cleveland. Now, Kansas City beat Cleveland 23-17, and it was actually a tighter game than it should have been. Kansas City got up really quickly, and the game looked like it was going to be pretty much over late. I think in the third quarter was when I looked up the scores. Kansas City was far ahead. They had like 20 or 23 points at that point, and the Browns only had like 10. To me, this was a game that was pretty much destined before it was over. The Browns are a better team than they used to be. They're not the epitome of the worst team in the NFL, but the Browns still aren't playoff contenders to me. The Browns are kind of one of those teams that's kind of building it up. They with trading Trent Richardson and their quarterback situation is kind of strange there. I think they're kind of saying we're going to try to do as best as we can this season, prove that our defense is one of the better in the NFL. They do have a great defense, but offensively they're going to need to draft some guys before they can be a playoff team. Kansas City-wise, Kansas City proved again they're a great team. Defensively, one of the best in the NFL, if not the best. I think before this week they had 10 sacks over any other team, which is amazing. And offensively, they're not a juggernaut, but they do have Jamal Charles and Alex Smith. So both of those guys are going to get you some points. And I think they're their record proves it, 8-0. They're a Super Bowl contender right now. I'm interested to see them match up against the Broncos in a few weeks because that game will really test them against a very hard opponent and another contender, and we'll see whether these guys are fakes or what I think. I think they're legitimate. I think they're a legitimate threat in the NFL, and I think every team should be scared of them. Next, we have New England and Miami. And for a while, whenever I was watching the score down at the bottom and watching highlights while watching the other games, I saw New England was actually behind, and this was a large part due to my opinion, Tom Brady's swollen hand. There isn't a really confirmation on what type of injury this is, but it obviously affected him today. He didn't have a Tom Brady-esque day. He hasn't had a Tom Brady-esque season, but even more so today, he didn't have that magic till late in the game. It was kind of more of a team effort than his effort. When he beat the New Orleans Saints, that was kind of individual effort. It was really him. Obviously, everybody on his offense had to do it, but he really made that comeback. That was a Tom Brady-esque comeback. But his defense really helped do it this time. An amazing pick where one guy tipped it out of bounds. It came back inbounds. Another guy got it. One of the reasons they won the game was because their defense really showed up late in the game, helped them beat the Miami Dolphins, who are actually a pretty good team this season. Next, we have New Orleans over Buffalo. This is kind of expected the score here. Jimmy Graham actually did a lot better than people thought he was. He had some sort of injury. I forgot exactly the injury, but people didn't expect him to play very much or play very well during this game. I believe he got 2 touchdowns. The ending score was 35-17. But point here is Jimmy Graham did really well. He's fine. Injury's not really affecting him, whatever it was. And Buffalo kind of did how we expected. New Orleans is definitely one of the better teams in the NFL right now, and they should be a legitimate title contender right now. And Buffalo, they're kind of proven where they are right now. They're not good enough to hang with the big boys yet, but they're starting to do better as a team. They're starting to make a playoff push. Don't know if they'll make the playoffs this year, but they're doing better than they have done. To me, they used to be one of the most irrelevant teams, meaning like I didn't really think about them when I thought about NFL teams. They did just good enough to not suck, and they did just bad enough to never be pushing for the playoffs. So I think next year you'll kind of see them start pushing for the playoffs. Before A.J. Manuel got hurt, I saw a lot of good stuff out of him. So they have a lot to look up to. Next we have New York Giants over Philadelphia. New York Giants won. Philadelphia's chaos right now. This game was kind of handed to New York Giants. I would have liked to see a little bit of a higher win by New York, but they got the win nonetheless. A win is a win is a win is a win. No matter how you do it, it's a win. Looking forward, hope New York does better than they have done. They've got a few wins now, and they used to be winless, so maybe we'll see kind of a comeback by them. I don't know if they have very great chance for the playoffs, but Dallas and the rest of their division, Washington and Philadelphia, they're all doing pretty bad. Best team is Dallas right now, and Dallas isn't even doing that great. Philadelphia, chaos. I don't think they have a very good chance at the playoffs. Michael Vick re-injured his hamstring, popped it during the game. So I don't think we'll see him for at least next week. Probably not the week after that. I haven't read any reports, but I think they're going to want to ice this injury, especially since the team is doing so bad without him on offense. Defensively, they're playing at least okay, but they need to kind of step it up on offense. After that, we have Cincinnati over New York, and this was kind of a surprise blowout for me. I knew the Cincinnati Bengals were getting a little bit better, but I didn't think they would blow out the Jets like this. This is kind of an embarrassment for the Jets. Jets should have done better than this, but you know what? They're kind of one of those teams that's up on the rise. Many people, including me, thought the Jets were going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, and this is kind of how I thought all their games were going to be. So maybe they're going to go back to their old form. Maybe they're going to say this was just a fluke, and the Cincinnati Bengals are better than everybody thought. That may be the thing, and Cincinnati's a legitimate maybe title contender. Maybe they're just another playoff push where they're going to go to the playoffs, lose one of the rounds, we don't really know at this point. We need to see kind of more evidence from these teams. Now we have one of the more surprising games of the afternoon. We have Oakland over Pittsburgh. And this game was kind of surprising to me in a lot of ways because I expected Pittsburgh to be better than this. I knew they were collapsing as a team. They're an older team. A lot of their older guys aren't playing as well. But I didn't expect them to lose to Oakland. This is kind of a switch in powers, if you will. Where they're kind of proving that the Steelers are kind of losing in power. They were a juggernaut for a while. Now they're kind of losing in power, and they're going to have to go through a rebuilding process, maybe really tough on that team. So they may not be a legitimate playoff team for a while again. But the Oakland Raiders are kind of reemerging themselves as a team that we have to consider as a threat. Week 1, I was highly surprised about how the Oakland Raiders did against my Indianapolis Colts. I think they kept it within 4 points of the end score, and I think Oakland should be considered a legitimate threat. Terrell Pryor's playing really well, and I think you guys should really look at this team to maybe be one of those surprise teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. They are in that really tough division, so I don't know if they'll go to the playoffs this year, but maybe next year. This season really should be considered a success by their fans about how well they're doing compared to how well everybody thought. They were another team I thought was going to do horrible. After that, we have Arizona over Atlanta, and the thing to kind of take away is this: is Atlanta's a mess right now. Roddy Whiteout, Julio Jones being out, they're a mess right now. Matt Ryan isn't good enough without his legitimate threats at receivers to really take over the game, and Matt Ryan's kind of proving himself as he's kind of, in my opinion, a more mediocre quarterback. I don't want to offend him or anything, but if you can't, you had some of the best receivers in the NFL for multiple years, and you couldn't win a Super Bowl with them, and now without them, you're losing a lot of games. So I don't think they're very good. Arizona-wise, Bruce Arians has obviously helped this team a lot, and a lot of change he's brought with him. Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best players of the decade. Sad part for him is he's had to play for crappy quarterbacks for multiple years, and he's still gotten records. Only good quarterback is Kurt Warner he's played with. And now he's got a kind of better one than he's used to in Carson Palmer, and these guys are going to be a better team now. Next we have the Denver Broncos over the Washington Redskins, and I actually watched portions of this game. I was moving around town, so I got to see one part, then I left, got to see another part, left, got to see another part. But the kind of thing I take away from this game is I legitimately thought Washington Redskins had him at one point. I didn't think Peyton Manning would turn it on. I thought he was just, I guess you could call it jet lag from the past 2 weeks. Just not Peyton Manning, but he turned it up in the end. Washington played a really good game, but you can't really beat Peyton Manning. Whenever he turns it on, he is better than anybody in the NFL. Best quarterback in the NFL, maybe the best player of all time. That's another conversation for another day, another video I have, but Peyton Manning is really the sole factor. They had a chance until he turned it on, and he turned out the lights on him, lit him up. However you want to put it, you don't have any chance once Peyton Manning's like that. And for our final game of the night, I actually watched pretty much this whole entire game. Green Bay Packers versus Minnesota Vikings. It's clear here. My dad's a Vikings fan. Clear the Vikings are going to have to go through something. They really legitimately need to change something. Obviously, they need a new quarterback, need a legitimate quarterback, whether that's Josh Freeman or somebody who's not on their roster right now. Christian Ponder is not the answer. Christian Ponder is a horrible quarterback. He had potential when they drafted him, but he has not evolved from that. In my opinion, he's still the same quarterback they drafted him as, and it's been painful to watch him. He hasn't corrected his mistakes. He still stares down his receivers. He is, in my opinion, one of the worst quarterbacks, if not the worst quarterback in the NFL. That's a starter-wise. They're still trying to get going. Hopefully they'll move Josh Freeman back in within the next few weeks, and we'll see some development out of him. Green Bay Packers, they should have held their offense more. The first kickoff return is unacceptable. If you're a special teams coach, you should get pissed. I know it's Cordell Patterson, but he should have been pissed at that team. They did not play well on special teams. But Green Bay Packers are doing a lot better on offense. They're going to be a juggernaut offense for years to come with Eddie Lacy and Aaron Rodgers. And defensively, they're kind of mediocre right now. Need to do a little bit better on defense. That way, they're a really, really good Super Bowl contender. But Packers, things are looking up for them. Offense is great. And that was Mega Reaction Monday. I'm going to try to do this every Sunday. I'm going to record it, get it to you guys out on Monday morning. And most of the time it'll work the way my work and school schedule will be. I won't be able to watch that final final game on Sunday and that game on Monday and react to them. So I'll react to both of those games in the video I post on Tuesday. So I hope you guys liked the video. Please rate, comment, subscribe if you liked it. Tell me anything you want me to change. You want me to have bigger statements, less statements, talk about teams less. I know this is a longer video, but I wanted to give you guys kind of an in-depth of what I thought about each team. Thanks for watching. Again, give me any advice. Constructive criticism is greatly appreciated, but don't be jerks in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow for my power rankings.